There we go. Namaste, salutations, and greetings all. Wow, it's Thursday. Man, it just seems like it was Monday when I was talking to you. This week has flown by. I hope it has done the same for you. So, we started you off on something pretty positive, and we're going to wind up your week with a beautiful guest tonight. We'll get right to that. So,
I'm almost done.
yeah, Mama is running behind.
Well, I usually get this
No, you don't talk
done.
because you'll lose.
I usually get this done right about the time we start, but someone didn't start Facebook, or we got kicked from Facebook, so I couldn't share it out. But now I'm sharing it out.
Oh, sounds like excuses.
I guess. Yeah, excuses.
So, how's your week been?
My week has been horrible on Tuesday. Horrible. So sick.
Yes, you were. You were very sick. We almost took you to the hospital.
And
I
knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I did it.
I'm sorry. We are having temporary kitty problems.
Yes, because that's going to be a fun.
We may have some issues here for a minute. So
Did he get in there?
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So well, you know what? That is the wonders of doing live shows. You never know what's going to happen. We have two male cats that don't get along, and we try to keep them separated. And they're very big boys.
Go.
So, all right, you got him.
Yeah, you put it wrong.
Of course. Well, thank you.
Well, that's why he got in there.
Oh, all right. Well, you figured this out.
I will.
All right. I don't know what you're doing.
I know.
It doesn't. It looks dangerous
It is.
to me. Well, I don't think
Give him a minute.
I don't think that'll work.
Yeah, it's a
No, Well, I don't know. We'll see if it works, but she did a pretty good job of destroying the doorway and
I bumped the camera.
and my beaded Van Gogh that was up there. It's Van Gogh.
I'm throwing my hands up in the air.
Gone.
I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, okay. That was a
I-
workout, guys. Okay, so it's running for my life, chasing one 30-pound cat so he doesn't mess with the 20-pound cat. But I got him. It's all under control.
Nothing
all under control.
Nothing is under control. That is one thing that I know.
It's under control.
All right, you know what? We've got Rob Leaming coming on tonight, a.k.a. the Mad Monk. Now, we met through a mutual friend, Michael Camp, and I think Michael was here, and maybe he's still here. But we both did a little bit of a talk on Saturday, and I was so captivated about what Rob was doing and all, and I thought, man, you guys are just really, really gonna dig him. So, we only have beautiful people on this show.
I completely lost.
And I'll tell you what, this is a beautiful person. Welcome, Rob, a.k.a. the Mad Monk. Rob, welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for incorporating me in your space and time. Your most valuable asset is right now, right?
You know what? You are so right, brother. You are so right. Hey, why don't you kind of tell everybody about a little bit about yourself, and then and how you got started, what you do, and kind of how you got started. Take us from the beginning.
Well, I guess I'll start from my most recent beginning, which was 13 years ago. I was a business owner, a plumbing contractor, and with all the stress and struggle of, trying to work those 12-hour days because they're worth more that way, right? And then my choice of how to relax from that was drinking a bunch of beer and and then eating poor food and going to sleep. And anyways, it culminated in me having an ulcer in my throat. And it one day on Father's Day, I was 36 years old and I started bleeding, and it was filling up my stomach, and I got sick a couple times and got into the hospital. Basically, I was bleeding to death from stress. And
Wow.
yeah, I had an out of body experience, and it changed everything. I mean, it just changed my whole perspective on life. And it takes quite a while to go into that, so I'll let you trust that we are a soul that is occupying and using this body. Because when I was outside of this, I looked down on this flesh suit, this skin suit, like it was a worn out pair of boots I was ready to walk away from. And when I realized that the things that I had been acquiring, even this body, the maintenance of the body, all these things, those didn't really matter. But what we can do with it does. And so when and the only thing that really bound me or was my my reason to stay here is that my daughter was only 12 years old. And I thought of her for a moment, and I was like, I don't want to leave. And then I was just right back in my body. I opened my eyes and I was being wheeled into surgery. And then they put me under.
Oh, wow.
And, they they had to cauterize the ulcer in the throat. And then 3 days later, I was out of the hospital, and I didn't need a 12-step program. I said, right now, I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. And right now, I don't want to participate in the relationship. I mean, we've been torturing each other for quite some time, and it just wasn't good for either one of us, but we just kept doing it. And so I said, you know what? I love you. I appreciate you, but we need to go our own ways. And I started stepping in a new direction in a lot of ways.
No.
Right on. Right on.
So I ended up closing, for my 40th birthday. So it took me a little while in the transition. My 40th birthday, I closed my business and I started working towards my ministry. And my ministry, the main purpose and mission statement is human and environmental well-being. And I think that this is something that we can all align with. And my ministry is to create unity. And I've talked with people of all denomination, and I can usually find a root that we do believe is a unifying belief. And so
don't those two things go hand in hand?
I think it should, right? I mean, because if we're all trying to seek that oneness, my impression of what God is not a person, place, or thing, but rather the creative force that exists within everything. And especially when it aligns with like an acronym, growth, oneness, and a divine accordance with each other. And when we can incorporate that into our now moment with our interactions with each other, they're not going to be interactions based on force, fraud, and coercion. They're going to be actions based on love, empathy, desire for your growth as well. Because if you're succeeding, it's just a better world for all of us.
Certainly, because if you succeed, you can help others succeed.
Absolutely.
And that is one of the things that you're talking you're talking the same language as we talk. That the interconnectedness, and by helping one, we help all, because one can help all.
Right.
It's the way it is. So you've kind of progressed now. How did you get into what you're doing currently?
Well, okay, so after I had that experience and I got out of the hospital and I was able to really kind of digest everything that had the awarenesses that had been created within me, because when I was outside the body, I felt a love and a connection and acceptance and a non-judgment that I'd never felt before. And I realized that that's what God is. That's the feeling of home. And in many traditions, a mantra is Om. And if you ever travel for some time and you come back home, there's a feeling of connection, and there's a feeling where you belong. And that's what I felt when I was outside my body. And now I can revisit that, and it brings tears of gratitude, because it's something that I didn't hold before, but it's something that I have now as a tool in that toolbox. And so even when, like yesterday, I had to go pay some extortion demands at the municipal courthouse, right? Because my headlight didn't work one night, and so instead of the officer just saying, "Hey, how about you get that fixed? Have a nice night," they extorted me for $704. And then the judge, anyway, big deal. So I accepted the payment plan of $30 a month, so that way I can go visit them and make friends every month with $31 bills. And I can say, $2 extorted from me when I've harmed no one. $2 extorted from me when I've harmed no one.
Right.
And it goes all the way to 30, and they were ready for me to leave. That's it. But it's funny. I'm not mad about it. I just say, you know what? This is what it is until it's not. And so I'm going to serve it the best I can. But so we're getting into what you'd asked. I'm kind of good. I'm good at going around the bush sometimes. In this time of reflection and meditation, inner work, right? I recognize, I'm like, what are the most important things that I feel I could be putting my energy towards, where I want to wake up every day. Waking up is something I get to do, not something I have to do. And it's, if I'm working towards the most important things that I feel I know how to do, then my life becomes one that I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to share. Thank you for this opportunity to share. This last couple weeks is really blowing up for me. This is the 4th podcast in 2 weeks now. So
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. But in this time of meditation, my direction is at least twofold, right? Because we've got at least 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 eyes, everything, there's a duality. And the human well-being aspect, I realized that stress is the opposite of ease. And when we're in stress, we're in dis-ease. So when we are manifesting stress in our mind, it eventually manifests in our body. And that's what happened with me, right? I mean, I wasn't using my words. I wasn't communicating the things that I needed to communicate to be living the life that I wanted to live. And
right.
Go ahead.
Oh, the brain, gut and gut brain connection. If you're physically unhealthy, or you're stressed, and your gut health is not good, your mental health isn't good, and vice versa. If your mental health isn't good, it can cause other issues throughout your body. Very, very important.
Yeah, definitely a mind-body balance. And so one of the things with human well-being was the stress, and how do you live in ease. And so yoga is like the science of how to manage this body and mind that we weren't given an instruction manual, or at least I wasn't given an instruction.
No.
It's been kind of a school of hard knocks sometimes. I've broken a lot of bones, a lot of skin. So, it's been a rough path, but at least it kind of shows you how durable we are.
Yes, very durable. Nobody would ever notice I've had, several head injuries.
Well, yeah. I've noticed those of us who have led lives with rough pasts or rough paths have more understanding and more care and love to give. Empathy, absolutely. Care and love to give, because we've survived all of those tough times and those rough patches in our lives.
Yeah, and we found the calm waters on the other side, and
right.
So that's pretty empowering when a person. That's what I think most people are lacking, are mentors for inspiration. Not towards purchases and interest rates, but inspiration towards health, happiness, peace, and abundance. And that was the foundation of what I recognize I want in my life. And it's a pretty common, everybody I talk to, they say, well, that sounds like a good foundation of life to operate from, and that's all available to us right now. And that's where I teach heavily meditated. And with that, I learned from a happy monk the most simple meditation. He said, don't try to meditate 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening. He says that works, but it's better just to do it right now, and always do it right now. So every time you get right, so if we can be aware of our breath, and we can be consciously shaping our breath in every right now moment, we can be consciously shaping our right now moments because we're aware of it. And that's the basis of what I've done is, do I want to spend my time in entertainment or education, in consumption or creation, in aligning with a pathway that towards oneness and unity, or one that is in separation and division and war? So yoga is the foundation of that. Yoga, with meditation, and then the other side of my mission is the environment. And I recognize that we're suffering a dehydrated landscape, and we've allowed the product of erosion to last for thousands of years in most of the mountains and around the lands since these floods had come through, right? And I mean, I'm not talking about Noah's flood, because I don't know about that one exactly, but the ones that the glaciers melting, and there's big boulders out in the fields that there's just no other way they can get there.
Right.
In these floods, they caused a product of erosion, and so then the eroded path is where the water flows. And if the beaver wasn't so popular in the 1800s for his skin, for his hats and gloves and stuff like that, he would have blocked up all of these creeks all over the place and spread the water out on the land so it soaks in where it falls, or as close as possible. But because now the beaver doesn't really care about modern infrastructure, and so if we have a home or a road or something like that, and the beaver builds a dam, well, then we go ahead and remove it and relocate the beaver and say, hey, have a nice life somewhere else. But we haven't consciously shifted the landscape to what he was doing in a way that it works. So that's what I'm introducing, is how to consciously shape our landscapes to manage the water and air currents. So like I'm out in the desert in central Washington, and so I'm on a mountain. I'm on about a 10% grade, and so I've got these big holes and trenches and swales and hugelkultur and mulching and sheet mulching and regular mulching over the top of that. And I'm creating these zones where, like, every night the coldest air settles into the trenches and into low-lying areas, and then so it really cools those areas down. And then in the morning, as the warm air currents are coming up the mountain, they're mixing with the cold, and so you're creating a dew point. And so we're able to pull, like, we only get 8 inches of rain annually, but pretty regularly there's 30% of the air that contains water for us. So if we can extract it from the air, it makes it to where we don't have to irrigate as much, and we can really turn a desert wasteland into an oasis. And that's what I'm doing here at the apocalyptic ashram Boxhaven.
Hold on, Rob. We're going to be back in just a moment, because number one, we have to say
this show is sponsored by MasterRochesGarden.com.
MasterRochesGarden.com. That is who sponsors this show. And I'll tell you what, look for us for all of your hemp derivative needs. And don't forget to check out one of our new products, our simple syrup. And that is either a full spectrum CBD or a full spectrum CBD THC blend, microdosed for your enjoyment.
Make sure you stick around through the song, because I want to hear more about what he's doing with land conservation.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, Rob is amazing here. But first, I think we are going to play some Galaxy.
Okay.
I have just been wanting to hear these guys again. So we're gonna get on with this, and let's see here if we do that right.
Maybe he can do it.
Maybe I can. Maybe I can. Maybe I can do it. I'm not great at this.
You're getting better at it.
I apologize. That song started so much faster. Hey, that was Galaxy. And I tell you what, I dig them.
They are out of
Portland.
Portland, Oregon, and they are phenomenal.
Yes, and you know what? Check them out. Check out
Are we
Galaxy. Become a Galaxian like me. You know what? They are just really incredible, and just one of many. And I really enjoy playing them on the show.
Absolutely.
So-
I love them. I think they're some of the sweetest people you'll ever meet in your life.
Oh, they are. They're beautiful. So check them out. Sign up for them. Follow them. Great people. Oh, look at that. Smoking, choking, and nerd roping.
It's Paul Kurt.
All right. Well, let's get back to Rob, a.k.a. the Mad Punk, and because he's really starting to tell us some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And pay attention, because this man is making the blueprints of the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Welcome back.
So yeah, so here at the Apocalyptic Ashram Hawks Haven, it's a education and event center. We're integrating micro earth ships using recycled materials like tires and glass bottles and wood and all these things to show people how we don't have to have a standard American dream of a death sentence. We can use the earth integration and recycled materials to really create some beautiful shelter that give us freedom. Freedom from that 9 to 5 grind and the things that cause stress in our life. And so that's one of the things. We're also working on alternative energies. I've incorporated into the landscape like a giant wedge, basically a 30-foot tall dirt wedge, and we'll be building a horizontal access wind turbine on top of that. So it'll be funneling the air that comes across the land into a singular point that will drive that turbine. And I think we're going to be producing a lot of power. The turbine will be about 20 feet long and about 6 feet in diameter. So there's
yeah, that should generate a little something for you.
Yeah, and then we're going to be using like a truck axle as the pivots on the end. So at each end, you'll have the truck axle being the bearing assemblies and the carrying the weight of the turbine. But then you've got the ring and pinion, so your pinion will spin a lot faster. So we'll have that'll kind of work as a bit of a brake too for the turbine, is pushing against that mechanical ratio driving the generator.
Right on. Yeah, and you can get a lot. The faster you can run that, the higher
Get more torque out of it,
output
right?
you're going to get.
Yeah.
So, very, very interesting.
So, but yeah, and that's part of the permaculture and homesteading engineering that I incorporate into the landscape. But it's basically how to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I wasn't meaning to interrupt you, but I actually think that and Ash and Dreadful are really good friends of ours, and they run Grow Fam Homestead, and I think they could possibly maybe use or integrate a lot of your ideas.
Oh yeah, I think even in an urban environment, on a micro scale of what I've shown here, it can really, a person can grow a lot of food, especially when we take into consideration vertical space. And because we may have a square foot garden, but if it's 10 feet tall, it can produce a lot more, right? And soil is just the medium in which we're using to grow, but soil doesn't actually have to be connected to the ground even. Bucket gardening and or aquaponics, using just the like aquaculture and hydroponics, kind of combining the two. I've got a small system that runs now. And yeah, there's I've taken the best ideas that I can find from around the world, from the smartest people that I can gather information from, and I'm trying to bring all of these ideas into one space. And one of my friends recently came through for a 5-hour tour, and at the end of it, she's like, "Oh my God, this is like Alice in Wonderland meets Willy Wonka guided by the Mad Monk," and it kind of has that esque of an experience. There at the entrance to the rabbit holes, there's a little white rabbit and a clock, and it's there's a labyrinth, and there's places that you start walking into, and we can be gone all day, and then we come back out of the same hole, and you're like, whoa, how'd that happen? We just walked all over the place, but we just came back out of the same rabbit hole. And it's I've had homeschooler groups come through here. The kids are like, this is better than Disneyland, no $12 hot dogs and no lines, and we get to shoot potatoes out of a spud gun, or like a pneumatic cannon. So
it sounds like a place I need to come and visit.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and with the event center aspect of it, I'm actually I've got like a mini monster truck that, we can run on the obstacle course. So, I mean, imagine anybody of any age wanting to have a birthday party and they say, well, of course I want to go to the apocalyptic Ostrom Hawks Haven. I can play paintball, or we can, do a slingshot competition on a little course, or we can go for a monster truck ride, or we can do Mad Monk meditation and movement on Mondays, or we have spiritually sensational Sunsets over Sela on Saturday. So,
that's some diverse activity.
Yeah,
and that's taking the modern in with the you're mixing so many elements there. I guess the modern along with your
traditional.
Yeah, the traditional. And
but that's a good fight back, because we're in such a mechanized and technological society that we're losing so many of the skills and the knowledge that you are putting into practical application. Not just the theory of it. Well, you can do this, and this is how you should do that. You're actually doing it and showing that
Yes.
this is viable and this works.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm doing a lot of things differently than I used to do that was normal. And so, there's some people that come here and they just can't handle how many things aren't normal, but that's okay. but there's a lot of other, yeah, but it's dropping seeds, and in these seeds, we don't know when they're going to sprout. We just trust that they will, right? And if an idea just makes sense, you can only ignore it for so long. You'll keep revisiting it in your mind, and you'll be like, you know what? There is no reason that I don't align myself with that, except a previous belief. And that's where I can get into I'm willing to enter a debate with anyone on any topic, and I can rarely ever find anybody that actually disagrees with me when we get down to the root issues. And I do it because I'm not trying to tell, you're giving me the opportunity to talk today, but a lot of times when I'm in a debate, I'm not telling them what I think. I'm just asking them questions, aligning the question with the thought process I'd like them to travel on. And I mean, and that's how that's the way that we beat that cognitive dissonance barrier. I'm not telling you something.
You're coming at it in a non-confrontational way. You're leading instead of arguing, instead of resisting. Now, hold that thought, because we do have to play an intermission. It is that time, Thursday nights. We have to give a shout out to all of the great programs that are on the Knock Network. And what better way to do it than an intermission?
So go grab your bowl, roll your joint, do what you got to do, go to the bathroom, fix you a drink, and we will be right back in about 4 minutes and 20.
4 minutes and 30 seconds.
4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Are you a Northern Ontario resident? Searching for credible information on cannabis as a medicine? No Sir is here to help. Established in 2013, Northern Ontario Cannabis Education and Resources is here for you. No Sir Director Kim Cooper brings you 45 plus years experience utilizing cannabis as a medicine and is spreading the education across the North. Activism, resources, referrals, and more at No Sir. Don't be a jackass. Say no sir to cannabis propaganda with No Sir. Find us at www.nocer.ca. Psychedelic Tuesdays on NOK Network. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Psychedelic Reports. Ufa Alvarius is scouring the newsletters for stories being reported in mainstream media on psychedelic rights and passing them on to Hobby Puppets and Karen Simpson so they can bring you, our listeners, in their 60-minute video news podcast.
Tuesday evening news.
Join us for Tuesday Evening News, weekly at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all your news and information in the world of psychedelic medicine. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on our webpage, social media, and streaming sites, including YouTube and Rumble. Join us for NOK Network monthly specials, 12 months a year. Movie nights. Spotlight on entertainment. And live on location event coverage. Stay up to date about upcoming programming by subscribing to NOK Network on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Rumble. Check out our webpage at www.noknetwork.com.
Peace, news, and views on NOK Network. Patients everywhere advocating cannabis evolution with Kim Cooper and Sir Steve-O. Joint hosts interview people in the grassroots and corporate cannabis space across North America and beyond. Sit down with patients, entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors, and others sharing their journey with this medicinal plant. So join us for Peace, News, and Views, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where all consumption is medicinal consumption on NOKnetwork.com. Follow and subscribe to NOK Network on social media and streaming sites, including Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble.
Advertising space available at NOK. Contact us for a rate sheet at knocknetwork.com. Send us a message on our social media platforms or email us at info@noknetwork.com.
Hey, dudes and dudettes. Enjoy the show, man.
And yes, we're back after that brief intermission with Rob Leaming, the Mad Monk. Rob, I have your YouTube channel running at the bottom. That's YouTube at free_will. Is that correct? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. You were still muted. I'm sorry, Rob.
Oh, okay. No, it's okay. The YouTube is free will, and actually the easiest way to find it is because there's so much on the internet that says free will doesn't exist. If you type in free will, that's what you but I'm like, hey, I'm right here. I've even got it tattooed on my knuckles.
Right?
Yeah, my hands are what gave me my freedom. I worked, as a contractor, and my middle name is Will. And so that's where my free will ministry has basically come from. And it aligns with my political and religious views. I believe in self-ownership and a non-aggression principle and voluntary cooperation, because I believe that if it's a good idea, it will be voluntarily supported. And when things are only done voluntarily, we're not actually we're not supporting the things that we don't want to see happen. So
exactly.
But yeah, and then
I think you'll find a lot of like-minded individuals within our audience.
I believe so. I think that cannabis being is an entheogen, which in theos, right, in spirit, or in the divine. So an entheogen is a connection to the divine, and the Mother Earth, she gives us psilocybin in the mushrooms. Gives us the cannabis from the plant, and the cannabis plant is something that even as a child, before I knew what it was, I loved the smell of it, and I was drawn to it. And I think that if one day we threw it on the campfire, and we inhaled it, and we started looking at each other and smiling and laughing and having a good time, we'd probably do it again.
Right.
Well,
So,
actually,
right?
we kind of had
Pretty
talked
much.
about. We had kind of talked about the way that Indians used the native Indians had used cannabis, and that a big part of the way they had done it was by
Basically a hot box.
by hot. They had started. They had their fire. They had what
Hot
was it?
stones.
Hot stones, and they would actually place the cannabis on the hot stones, and then they would cover it, and they would breathe the fumes.
Right. Yeah.
So that's actually how cannabis was
Well,
vaporized.
yeah.
One of the ways that it was vaporized to be inhaled.
Yeah, early on.
Yeah.
Early on.
Nice. The earliest dab rig by Caveman.
Right.
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 Not at a concentrated level, but he
Right?
two big rocks and accomplished that.
we think these cave paintings, hold mysterious meaning or stories. Nah, it was their first real experience eating a lot of the psilocybin.
Right.
It's like, man, look at this. Look what I can do.
Well, inspiring that artist. When I was young, I never thought I thought that artists were born, not built. Basically, I didn't know that it was a really a learned skill. And then I started learning the skill, and I started practicing, and I do tattoo work now too. And that's, I either do plumbing or tattoo, or, I sell my body doing all sorts of dirty things,
Right on.
to pay those extortion demands for the property taxes, and because I'm an unincorporated church. I've maintained the separation of church and state, so they're not honoring my property tax exemptions. So, no, I mean, there's benefits one way and the other. So, and until humanity wakes up to what human rights are and how we respect them with each other, using government as a tool to provide public services that we all want, we just play the game the best way we know how. And we do that right now. Right? So,
Right. Tell us more about the free will ministry.
okay, so the two folds on that are the landscape reclamation and basically just changing the whole landscape so it works towards access and tiny houses, or like temporary tiny houses or earth integrated shelters, recognizing that the cheap land that FedEx and the UPS still drive next to is available, and how we can build communities that work together. And in that free will ministry, we can incorporate this. I mean, not only McDonald's and fast food chains can be incorporated, or franchised, but we can take an idea and spread it out. And so if people were wanting to participate on that level, you build a church or you build a ministry, and if you want to incorporate with the state to get your tax-free benefits, that's an option. But this is a way that people can come together, and instead of everybody having a $200,000 or $300,000 mortgage, maybe everybody only has to work a part-time job to contribute and pay for the property taxes, the upkeep of the utilities and things like that. And 5 or 10 friends can come together, and they can really build an estate and a kingdom where everybody has their place. And it's my goal
You know, we were talking about, you know, artist and agrarian communities where, you know, where you grow your food and you know, you use
Yeah.
everything that you're producing, and you
Yeah.
know that, and I think it's a, you know, I love the idea.
Implementing the idea is difficult, but becoming a part of it would be amazing.
Right. Well, and see, this is what I'm creating here is, so say you have 5 friends and you guys all have, you just put your houses on the market and you say, you know what, we're going to buy us or we're going to have a tiny house that we can travel to the apocalyptic ashram Hawkshaven. And we're going to spend a month or we're going to spend 3 months as a team, and we're going to recognize how resources that are available in local communities can be implemented to create the space to grow food, the space to seek shelter and do your showering and your sleeping and all of these things that maybe aren't being advertised to us in the culture on television programming. You know, so I'm bringing awareness to the options that I didn't know about when I started out life, and I think that if I would have known that these options existed, I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have taken decades for me to earn enough money to achieve what I'm doing. If I would have known then what I know now, I could have lived a lot more of my life, you know, free. I could have spent more time with my daughter as a child than working to support life. And so that's one aspect of the free will ministry. And then one more, but I think you had something to say.
Oh no, go ahead, and I'll follow up with you here in a minute on a thought.
Okay. So so there's practices that we can introduce in our life, and you know, yoga in the way Western culture and a lot of people are experiencing it, it's in a room, on a mat, in a air conditioned or heated space, and it's in a box, right? And the way I teach yoga is I call it play yoga, and it's capital PLAY for pixelated landscape or life shape and yoga. And so say like we're just beginning in play yoga, and I recognize that there's somewhere on the property here that isn't what I like to see. Maybe there's some rocks that are, you know, or maybe somebody could trip on, or maybe there's some weeds that you just don't want to see there. And so from where you're at right now, leave your feet planted and influence as big of an area around you as you can, right? And so right now you have the I mean, like right here, I can reach, if I'm just, you know, right here, I can reach about a 5-foot diameter circle, right? But now if I were to go like this and plank and reaching all the way out, I can reach, about a 17 to 18 foot diameter. And when you're planking all the way out and you're moving your body in all these various ways, you're really building a core strength that can support your body. And with yoga, and with yoga, we talk about posture, and posture is important because our spine is the conduit in which our energy flows. And so we want to remove as many blockages to our energy flowing as we can. And that happens through flexibility and strength training, you know, in our core set of muscles. And that also eliminates back pain because our muscles are then supporting the vertebrae versus the vertebrae finding themselves to each other in a resting position. And so I was in I was riding my bicycle across the highway when I was 14 years old, and I was hit by a Ford Bronco, and I spent 11 days in the hospital on that mistake. But right. But I spent the next 20 years going to a chiropractor. And then I came to a chiropractor, and he's like, "Wow, Rob," he says, "you know, you're pretty fluent in the positions that we need to do the adjustments." He says, "You know, if you worked on your hydration, you worked a little bit more on your core fitness and your flexibility, you probably won't have to come back and see me." And I was like, "Wow, you know what? Thank you." And I mean, because that's the solution to the problem, not profiting off the problem.
Right,
And,
absolutely.
Right. And so what I started to do is, because my core wasn't very strong, my back hurt too often to be doing these things. So what I did is I just started leaning back, and I started leaning and holding my body off of center. So I wasn't resting all the time. I was engaged all the time. And now I've gotten to the point where I can really just, a boat pose in all sorts of directions, and it's pretty solid, and I can do it for some time. And I don't have any back pain, and I'm in the best shape of my life. I turned 50 here in a couple months, and I really have to attribute it to hydration, core fitness, and flexibility. And thank that chiropractor for helping me out with that.
I do have a question for you, and because I have noticed something that we have really gotten away from in the United States that is still fairly common across the world, and I wonder if it wouldn't help us as a society, and that is intergenerational living. Because long ago, having the grandparents in the house, along with the mothers and the children, there's so much that they can impart and help
knowledge and respect and they took care of each other.
Right, and they took care of each other. The old took care of the young, and the young took care of the old. And I just hate to see it. We have such a disintegration of family, and especially in the United States, and we're losing all of this knowledge that the family used to have. And it's like every generation now is starting over. They're not taking that knowledge and wisdom of the previous generations and using it. Does that fit in much to with what you're talking about?
Absolutely. So this is like my current community actually involves a few people who they're not as productive physically that maybe a community would hope for, but they hold wisdom. And so there's wisdom, there's wealth, or there's well-being. And sometimes just having somebody available to watch your back, if you're welding in an area, make sure that the flames don't come up around you. There's everybody has a piece in the puzzle, and when everybody's filling that piece, we create a masterpiece, right? Because it's the intergenerational gives us the wisdom, the wealth, and the well-being. So why rebuild the wheel? Why have to figure out how a wheel works when Grandpa can show you?
Right.
Exactly. I tell you what, we're going to take another quick musical break, and then what we'll do is we'll come back and kind of wrap up with you, and then don't leave after we wrap up, because stay and I want to talk to you a little bit afterwards.
Great.
So let me see if I can do this again. We've got another one of our favorite.
Who are you playing now?
I think I'm going to play some Mendo Dope.
Mendo Dope.
Yeah, I kind of.
Oh, and they're going to be at the Keepy Cannabis again this year.
Are they?
They are.
Well, pretty cool. I think this is what I'm doing.
Is this what you're doing?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what I'm doing.
Lace up your boots. Come walk with me through the garden. Planters in the tree. Man, don't. All I'm seeing is green. Evening shift when the moon is out. Yeah, we got green to cliffs on my cruise en route. Man, I got an ocean of green. Walking through this field is a dream. See them Project Power 12-footers, October lean. Harvest season. Terpenes got me fiending to try. Surf these canopies at colas. Got one thing on my mind. Roll up. Hold up, I got some hash to lace inside. So many grams that we should try. It's like a cup when we get high. Gripping these fiskers and clipping these toppers. We them legacy farmers, not the imposters. Cannot conquer us, we here to stay. Blaze up that kill. I'm a mountain boy from Mendocino, raised on that hill. Plant so big you don't even know which branch to cut first. And I promise when it's dry, we'll smoke it. It's gonna make your lungs burst. Right back to work, we going hard with the team. Under the stars with sticky fingers, all I'm seeing is green. All I see 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 is green. I got flavors, I got phenos, resin sticky clean. Just wanna sleep, don't wake me up. I'm in a field of dreams. All I see is green. 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 I got flavors, I got phenos, resin sticky clean. Just wanna sleep, don't wake me up. I'm in a field of dreams. Phenos, flavors. Terps so loud, we pissing off the neighbors. Don't talk to weed haters. I got resin in layers. Fresh froze, ice cold, straight blown, puff coat. Smoking we heavy blazers. Medicated I am when I'm breaking weed off the stem. Filling totes with all this dope and I ain't seeing an end. We don't follow the trends, we grow our own. Grassroots started from seed, we ain't no clones. I plant volcano mounds and I harvest lava. Breaking down in sticky cola, then I roll up in a grabba. OG ganja farmer, still growing them trees. Top of the pear tree ladder, chopping at frosty greens. Microscoping this resin up on a terrace. This living soil, organic grown, you can't compare it. Chemical cultivators hiding their flowers and berries. We come through with that sun-grown gold, 24 carats. All I see is green. 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 I got flavors, I got phenos, resin sticky clean. Just wanna sleep, don't wake me up. I'm in a field of dreams. All I see is green. 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 I got flavors, I got phenos, resin sticky clean. Just wanna sleep, don't wake me up. I'm in a field of dreams. All I see is green. 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 All I see is green.
And we're back
They are going to be at Keefe Canifest again this year.
at Keefe Canifest again this year. We will be at Keefe Canifest
again this year
again this year, hanging out, having a good time, meeting everybody.
on June 8th.
June 8th.
June 8th. So, and it's down in, where did I say it was?
I don't know where you said
I'd
it
have to
was.
look, but it's here in Illinois. So,
Right on, and we'll be right back. But first, don't forget, check out MasterRochiesGarden.com, MasterRochiesGarden.com for your hemp derivative needs.
and make sure you check out our beard oil. It is simple, natural, and unique, and everybody loves it.
Right on. All right, Rob, back to you, my friend. If people want to check out and hear more about you, where do they find you?
Well, my main hashtag that I include a lot of my work is the Mad Monk, and it's MADD_MONK_. I'm sorry, no underscore between the Mad Monk and Mad Monk _.
So, do you have a Facebook page?
AHH, right?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
what am I looking for?
Rob Leaming, LEAMING, and it's the one with the avatar image with a silhouette. It is my favorite picture.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to add you as a friend, and then I am going to invite friends to like you. But
Great.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to, hang on.
Well, yeah.
I was going to try. Oh, here, I'm going to share your link to the live stream. So I copied it. So
There we
this
go.
is what I'm doing. So hold on.
I tried to log in on the chat during the song, but I wasn't able to. I noticed there's some nice people that are talking in there, and so yeah. But hydration, drinking enough water helps you look young, because a grape is plump because it's hydrated, and it's a raisin when it's not, right? And the same thing happens to people. And when we start getting a sunken phase, we're becoming dehydrated. And that's what I
don't know.
recommend
I'm quite plump.
happening with people and their landscape. It's a
Everybody wants to be a grape. Nobody wants to be a raisin.
I'm kind of plump. So
right.
Well,
It helps us stay younger, because if our diet is clean and if our cellular structure is replacing itself about every 7 years, or at least every 10, right?
Right.
At no time should we really be holding more than a 10-year-old body. And I'm able to do things now that I couldn't when I was even when I was in the military. I mean, strength wise with yoga and body weight positioning and I don't have any back pain anymore. And that's something I struggled with in my 20s and 30s, but now almost 50, and I've turned everything around. Recognizing the practices of yoga and meditation and proper eating, proper consumption on all levels.
Right on.
And then,
yep, I'm right there with you. Almost 50.
you wish you were almost 50. He's been telling people for 10 years that he's almost 50.
no, well, you're just 49 with a few years of
About 10 more
experience.
years.
Yeah, I'm just holding at 49. I'm comfortable with that. So yeah, it's working. It's working.
Yeah.
Rob, thank you so very much for spending your time with us tonight. Loved what you have to say, and I'm right there, with you. And if I would love to pick up some, acreage or go in and do some natural housing and blend in with the environment. All of these manicured lawns are overrated.
Right. Well, it's amazing that we have so many really, really good farmers in America, across the globe, really, that are manicuring and they're growing a specific crop that they throw away every week or two.
Yeah.
Right.
It's silly when they can have just as beautiful landscaping with growing your own food and the amazing colors and
the fruit trees,
everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
It can be beautiful.
When it grows locally at the source for free, it's way better when it ripens at the root rather than en route to the grocery store for a fee.
Right.
So
Exactly.
and they're having to pick the fruit before it's ready to be delivered to you. Before it's ready to be consumed, they're pulling it from the root to put it on a truck route to get to the grocery store, and they have to give it this time to ripen. But then it goes onto the shelf, and then it ripens too much on the shelf, and so then it's thrown away. And so there's several videos on my YouTube that share some of what we do with that wasted food. And one of them is food fight with the goats and hunger is yeah. So it's about a 40-minute video, but I'm talking about some of the solutions to the problems we face, and it kind of shows you the abundance that's being wasted.
I fight with goats, but they don't belong to me.
Right.
The neighbor's goats.
Rob, thank you for being on. Hold on, I want to talk to you and about some stuff. So
great. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're very, very welcome. All right, man.
He's a great guy. Great guy.
Great guest.
So much insight, so much, and I think we could all learn a lot from him.
Yeah,
honestly.
He is putting out, Rob is a lot of the same message that we're putting out.
Right.
And it's great, finding and networking with
like-minded people.
To spread the message.
Absolutely.
Well, Crystal, it is getting to be that time of night. Yes. Would you like to say good night?
Sure. Crystal? Everybody have a great, great weekend. Love each other. Give someone a smile, a hug, and be kind.
Could have said it better. And as always, until Monday, peace, love, and good vibes, my friends. And we will see you then. Have an amazing, amazing weekend.